Are Tennessee football fans spoiled now? 67% say no, 33% say yes.
Well, by the same token, we do have a situation in which you might have a preference, right, Caleb? I mean, you don't want to call yourself spoiled on a message board, do you?
No. But Dan has a point of, I don't think spoiled. I just think they're tired of not meeting expectations. Dan, they did not meet my expectation.
They did. How did they not meet most people's expectations? Yours were too high, Caleb.
No, I never said that they should be held to the standard I put them to. I think people expected a deeper run in the college football playoff. Look, I guess we're getting into the. So let's track how Josh Heupel's done at Tennessee through 4 years. Because guys, we're going to tell you, Dave and I can tell you this up front. We can track it by our views on YouTube. Apathy has really crept into the Tennessee football fan base this all season. Has it not, Dave? It is it's at a higher level than it has ever been under Josh Heupel. So,
I'm not sure it's not at the highest level it's been since, and I might write a column on this. 2009, everybody got excited because it was Lane Kiffin, right?
Yep.
2008, that was not apathetic because everybody wanted Philip Fulmer fired, right? I mean,
yeah, there's no apathy when you want a coach fired. I'll tell you that.
I mean, I'd have to go to 2005. I don't have a way of quantitatively proving that, but
2020, before Heupel was hired, that 2020 year with Jeremy Pruitt, apathy was absolutely insane. It was like people were just Now 2017, when Butch Jones was getting fired, it wasn't, because people were literally watching the games rooting for Tennessee to lose by as many points as possible. It was actually hilarious. People were so sick of Butch Jones. 2020 with Jeremy Pruitt, there was a level of apathy that I don't think I've ever seen with the program, ever. And so that's where it's a little bit different for 2020. Hence the reason I think somebody in Tennessee's program leaked already. I think everybody in Tennessee knew they were cheating and someone wanted him gone, so they decided to leak the report that he's cheating. I still believe that, by the way, to this day. They wanted a pretext to fire him.
Well, I don't doubt that.
Yeah. So I think the way the college football playoff there's a few things that happen in 2024. So let's talk about how Josh Heupel built his excitement. 2021, he goes 7-6, exceeds everybody's wildest expectations, and we're looking at what could be the most exciting offense in school history. 2022, they live up to that again and take another step, and they go 11-2, finish number 6, beat Alabama, just like one of the most exciting years Tennessee's had in decades. 2023, there's a drop-off. The offense isn't what it was with Joe Milton. They go 8-4, 9-4. People forgave that because they're thinking, it's just Joe Milton. He's just not fit for this offense. We'll let it go. But everybody's saying, we got Nico in 2024. Let's go all balls to the wall in 2024, baby. Let's roll. That's how they're thinking. And in 2024, they still went 10-2. They made the college football playoff, but Dave, there was the loss to Arkansas, but there was also the fact that Nico just wasn't the exciting player that everybody wanted to see. And I think that drew some apathy. And then the way they lost in Columbus added to that. Now, you and I have talked about this. Context matters. Look what Ohio State did throughout the rest of the college football playoff. So I think that it's not like the excitement can't come back because Tennessee was very excited for the college football playoff, but like we're losing perspective on the fact that Ohio State blew out everybody in the playoff. We're losing perspective about the fact that their two losses, one was because of a fluke roughing the punter penalty when they had a left tackle playing with a sprained ankle. And the other one was at Georgia. There's no shame in that. So I think
I think you're underestimating a 3% improvement. I think that you think a 3% improvement would be hosting a home playoff game. I think to me, a 3% improvement is being within a couple of scores on the road.
Well, I said because if they were 3%, I would say away from. If they were 3% better last year, Dave, they host a home playoff game. I mean, if they're 3% better, you and I agree they beat Arkansas, right?
Yes, most likely. Yes.
Yeah. And they're 11-1 at that point. They play the SEC title, they lose, but they're hosting a home playoff game at that point. So they're in Texas' spot. So I mean, 3% is the difference between Tennessee getting the 9 seed and Tennessee getting the 6 seed. Or 7 seed.
Let me ask you this. Dylan says we caught lightning in a bottle in 2022. It was great, but we shouldn't hang our hat on an outlier. I'm not saying you should match the record numbers that Hendon Hooker put up, but it needs to be a lot closer to that than it was to the offense that Tennessee put on the field last year.
Yes, I totally agree. The 2022 season, what it was it's the splash that you needed to make to be able to recruit at a high level and get talent in. They're doing that now. And I think that I still think you're going to have to expect I think people thought there was another level beyond 2022, and maybe there's not, but 2022 and this expanded 12-team playoff could be good enough to win a national championship, depending on who the draw you get, honestly. So now we're about to talk about this soon, but the expanded playoff that's coming, I don't know if it will be then, but as of right now, it's definitely good enough to get you a national title. So I think we're kind of, this, Dave, you cover the NFL. There are teams that they are good enough to win the Super Bowl, but they might lose in the first round by 25 at the same time. It just happens. I mean,
it says 3% better. Nico doesn't run out of bounds against Arkansas. He actually throws the ball up for a TD.
Yes, and Jordan Ross. That's the difference in the game. And by the way, there were a couple of options on there for a TD. So, nope, totally agree.
Well, the scary part to me is he wasn't physically ready. He didn't have hand strength.
Yeah.
That was my biggest concern. Because, I mean, listen, I've seen quarterbacks stick their hand in the sand and make their hand stronger. The fact that he didn't have that concerned me a little bit.
Well, and the catch, I'll say this. The catch is also, Heupel had a system. The SEC wasn't ready for the system. I think the SEC is largely caught up. Heupel has adjusted, by the way. The question is, how much is he going to adjust? Dave, you remember this? I bring up the Bruce Pearl years because I was talking about it earlier. Bruce Pearl, his last 3 years without Lofton did not match what he did his first 3 years because even though he was recruiting better, the SEC was catching up to what he was doing with the tempo.
True.